Hello there, friends. Pal Lou Pickney with you here. NashvilleLou Live is on the air. May 22nd, 2023. Playing the very entertaining new strategy game, Warsaken Blitz. Invite you to go ahead and get in the queue if you want to play some Warsaken Blitz player versus player. Type ! Join in chat. I don't list my name there first. That's just to have something in there. Otherwise, it doesn't balance properly as far as the way it centers up. Some of this is a bit of a work in progress as far as the layout goes. See that My Saki card there, that epic. One of only 100 of that particular type. That's one of 50 options on the prize wheel. I have the Warsaken prize wheel that I'm debuting on this show. While we wait on people to get queued up, I'll give you a quick look over there at it. So it's 50 different options. I'll be sending out the prizes for my fulfillments wallet. Fulfillments with an S at the end. Had to get to 12 letters, and that was available, so I took it some time back. So the epic My Saki number 84, these numbers are the mint numbers. Now, disclaimer, disclosure, whatever. There's a chance that I could always mess up some of the numbers. This might not be the exact one you get if I made a mistake. So please know it was done in good faith as far as the mint numbers go, if that's any particular pressing issue for any of you. So the epic My Saki number 84, the SR stands for super rare. They are super rare. The burn notices, political speech, secret mission, and then a lot of VRs, very rares. The interrogation facility, successful mole hunt, desert bighorn, so on and so forth. And I threw one uncommon interrogation facility there at the end. So a bunch of options. It's 1 out of 50. I'm not sure how long I'm going to stream tonight. I'm not sure how many people will get a crack at the wheel. But that's the idea with this. Hello. I have to remember to keep an eye on chat. I don't ever intend to slide anyone or overlook anyone. Just a little bit of a different broadcasting setup. I was very surprised in some, well, maybe not very surprised. I was surprised, though, at the expectations and the hope for prizes from people with Warsaken streams, which is great because there's so many great cards in the game. Love giving them out. And the easiest way to do that, though, is to do that via competition. Go ahead and type in ! Join in chat. And the way I'm doing this, I'm not using any sort of a delay honor system as far as not cheating and peeking at what I have. But that's the idea. That My Saki card there, one of 50 that could show up there on that prize wheel. Got two different computers, so this is a little bit of a, I hope I don't press the wrong button in the wrong place. For all my years in the television news business, I was never a technical director. Now, when things would go haywire, I would have to tell 10 people what to do instantly. That was challenging. Take another look at the prize wheels presented by Neri 3616 in Alien Worlds. That's my land in Alien World, so if you play that game, please mine there at least sometimes. Epic My Saki is the big prize, 1 of 50 here on the board. A lot of super rare cards and a lot of very rare cards and one uncommon. And so the idea is that people are going to play me here tonight. And some people will beat me, and those that do will get a spin on the wheel, and we'll see how that goes. All right. Get things going here in just a moment. I have to pull up the slate to switch between two different inputs on the television I use to both play the game and also keep track of the Wheel of Names, because that's a new thing for me with the Wheel of Names. Okay. Making sure I do this in the right sequence. Some of this is kind of thrown together as far as within OBS Studio. Still a challenge for me as far as getting that figured out, so your continued understanding is appreciated. There we go. Okay. So now I have to make sure, though. Now, one caveat with using this setup. Oops. This is not going to be as smooth as I want it to be out of the gate, unfortunately, and that's just part of it. I have to go in here, hit exclamation point next. I think that's what I do. All right, so Zeal, you're up next. Zeal, if you want to send me a code, I think that's going to work out best, as opposed to me trying to, because I use a different computer. I can't copy and paste. I have to type it in, so I want to see if that might work. So if you could, Zeal. For some reason, it doesn't want to let me respond on that one, so thank you for the follow. Seaman to 13, thank you. Zeal, I can send you a code if you want to, Zeal. I mean, it's either way, it's fine. But if you can send it to me, I think that will work better. Okay, I'll go ahead and just get it going here. Let's go with join with code. Or did I click the wrong one there? Oh, I didn't. I clicked the right one and I backed out of it. All right, there's the code for you there. Zeal, let me type it in chat. I think it will be easier for the most part for people to give the code to me. In this case, I'll give it to you. And please don't steal that, everybody else. This is Warsaken Blitz, NashvilleLou live on a Monday night Nashville time. It's already Tuesday for a lot of the rest of you. We'll get things going here in just a moment. Some player versus player competition, Warsaken Blitz. Now, my way of live streaming Warsaken is different than I think everybody else I've seen in certain ways, which is great. There's so many ways you can enjoy and play this game. And we've got the audio working correctly today. It's a plus from last time. All right, so taking on Zeal here. You start with 8 cards in Warsaken Blitz. You have the option of using a mulligan if you want to redeal. I'm happy with this. I got a pair of... You need 3 of a kind to make a play. But I don't have any building cards. Building cards get in the way early, so I'm going to keep what I have. My opponent, it just kind of randomly decides who gets to go first. So those are the cards I have. A couple intels, a couple forces, some standalone forces, a WMD, and a weather. I'll go throughout the broadcast and try to explain what all these different ones do. All right, so 1 was played there. Now it's my turn. 2. All right, I mentioned the building cards. Until you have something in your discard pile, the building cards aren't going to serve you much purpose. I'll go ahead and play the pair of L1 needles. You do put your cards at risk by having them out there. And intel can potentially wipe them off the board. But I'm much more willing to take that risk with a force where I have more of them overall in my deck of 60 versus WMDs, for example, where I have 2 sets of 4 for the most part. Here's a force. Now, a force card is going to take out one of my territories. You get 4 territories in Warsaken Blitz. Once all 4 territories are taken out, your leader becomes compromised. That also happens if your morale hits 0, which is rare but can happen in Blitz, or if your arsenal, your deck, hits 0. That blue dot up there is important. That lets you know it's still your opponent's turn, and then it just disappeared. The die shows up, and it's my roll. 6. All right, well, I can play the L1 needle. I might need to do some adjusting with the game audio. I'm going to bring that up a bit. If that sounds too loud to anybody, let me know, or maybe I'll hear it in my headset. Because there's some great sound effects with this game. Try to be greedy there, just get the 1. That wasn't a WMD. And it also knocks down the morale, however much is indicated on that given territory. So that can come into play. You want to get low negative morale territory for Blitz if you can. So wide open as far as what I can play. We'll play a pair of actions. Pair of Romans prototype cards there. Thank you for the follow there. Shiloh, thank you. Okay. I'll play the pair of John Riders. So two each of the forces. I can actually play one more. I've got a third spot open over there. The WMDs I'm going to keep in my hand for now because you put them out there and they will be targeted. I'll play one of my two intels of the successful mole hunt. Easy enough for me to say. And now it's my opponent's turn. This is NashvilleLou Live, playing Warsaken Blitz. This game is so much fun. For people that beat me here tonight in Blitz, you got prizes. It's a 1 in 50 shot as it is right now in the prize. We'll get an epic. I'll have more about that after the match. But again, I know some people, it's so interesting to see the various methods and approaches people take to live streaming. When I'm not in the middle of a match, I can probably talk more about that. I've learned so much, even just the past week. It's really something. And I've been in broadcasting for years, but this is a different animal, and I love it because I've certain things I've learned through the years that I think are helpful here, but then there are different, it's just a different, altogether is a different world when it comes to being able to interact with the audience in ways that just were never possible before. So your weather cards, if you can play 3 of a kind of a weather, gives you the chance to either get 3 extra actions for that turn, or my particular favorite, getting to roll again. 6, because that can happen. All right, well, speaking of which, play the trio of weather cards there. I mentioned the +3 actions, or if you don't want to take the chance on rolling the die and you've got a specific number of actions you need to knock out right now, that's a good choice, but usually your +1 turn, in my experience, is going to be your better option. 3 more to go still for this turn. And I've got an issue here, though, because I have 1 spot open. I don't like filling up that 4th spot, unless I've got 3 of a kind, and I don't at the moment of anything. So as much as it feels wasteful, I'm going to end the turn here. Be careful not to end game. You want to end turn, in this case. But I get to roll again. I really should keep better track of that. I've been saying that before. Check out that. The white phosphorus bomb dropped in, but it's the stuff that's... Let's see. Play the intel card here. Balance 3 might drop. I love the voiceover with this. We'll get rid of the pair of forces there. Be careful hitting that red, like that part right there. If you don't intend to get rid of more than 1 in that particular moment, that can let you get rid of all of them, or as much as you can. I'll get rid of 1 of the fire in the field. I've still got 5 more as far as actions go. I'll play the John Ryder. Then I'll take my opponent down to two territories. Decision time for me here. I have a third action. Actually, a third, force. That I have the Z-27 Tiger, 3 of a kind. I could go ahead and play all that now, but if I do that, and I don't, actually, because I've got the 2 captured leaders, if I can wait a turn and get a WMD, maybe that opens up something for me, options-wise. And yet, I'm going to try it this way. Because I'm still so new to this, I don't know what the quote-unquote right thing to do is. But I'm going to take this opportunity now and go ahead and just clear it out. Some of this is me in the moment telling you what I'm thinking, and it might not be the right way initially here while I learn how all this works. All right, so my opponent's down to 1 territory. Still have 1 more action I can take here. I'll play 1 of my building cards. You have the Soldier Barracks. Building lets you go into your discard pile and resurrect 3, or you can move 6 at random from your discard pile to your arsenal, your deck, which is good because your arsenal hits 0, your leader becomes compromised, and that is a way that some people will try to win in Warsaken. In Blitz, not as much in my experience, but it has happened. and that has saved me in a match before, so it's helpful to know that. So a pair of weather cards out there for my opponent, and then pass over to me. 2. All right, 2 each on the WMDs, but I'm less less interested in that at the moment. I've got a spot open out there. I could go and play the second soldier barracks, and I will. And I'll play one of my 2 terrifying storms. Go ahead and get that out there. Now it's my opponent's turn. The numbers that you see here and here are your morale. But again, as noted, at least in my experience to this point with Warsaken Blitz, morale hasn't come into play as much, but I imagine that's going to be very different with a full game. Blitz is wonderful in that it allows people to learn how to play Warsaken, get them familiar with everything without being overwhelming. Since it doesn't matter the fine print on the card aside from the territories. Rolled a 6 there. I didn't really put that over like I should. That's big. Let's see. The WMD doesn't matter as much. I mean, I've got the intel aplenty, and there are worse ideas than 3 intels and 3 building cards. I was going to bounce 3 of these 4 weather cards out here. We'll get rid of the pair of cloud covers. Get rid of 1 of the fire in the fields. 3 more as actions for this turn. Well, I'll use the... Now, before you do this, before you play buildings to make a 3, it helps to look over here and say, what are you going to get? Because that's going to be the next question. You can look and you're allowed to look in your opponent's discard pile as well. So that's all part of the game. It doesn't... I was like, am I cheating by doing this? But no, it's allowed. So weather cards, forces. I mean, the forces what I'll be going back for. I've kind of beefed up a little bit as far as the percentage of forces in my deck. So yeah, I mean, oh no. Trying to get off. Okay, hide discard. Okay. Soldier barracks. Returning 3 to my hand, and we'll bring back the trio of John Riders. Two more actions. Now, there's a risk if I put... Well, I've got 4 John Riders here. Maybe I should have played that a little bit differently. Anyway. Well, I can go ahead and take a risk here playing 2 of them. I mean, if they both get wiped off the board, then so be it. Just bad luck. But nothing for my opponent as far as intel goes out there. Yeah, and yet they're a roll of a 6, and that could change in a hurry. This is Warsaken Blitz, NashvilleLou Live. This is my first match of the broadcast. Here we go, a force trio right there. So I'll be down to 2 territories, 3 actions to go for my opponent. I mean, there could be a WMD waiting for me to knock me down to 0 territories. Could be a lot of things here. Could be a weather. 16 cards, and it shows you, says there, 16. Well, here's the countdown. I mentioned weather. That's 2 of a kind. And that's all for this turn. My turn. 1. Well, play the John Rider. Take out the 4th and final territory, the vast hinterland. Save the vast for last. Only -1 morale. Make that the last one you knock out from your opponent. Alright. So I only had the 1 action for the turn, but I got got everything I could out of it. There are 2 actions for my opponent who rolled a 2. But as I was saying, though, my approach with live streaming this is going to be different than I think a lot of people. I want to explain what's going on. I want people to be able to understand. I used to work in the TV news business and make complicated stories make sense in 20 seconds. I helped farmers in West Virginia were able to understand Bitcoin in 2012 from 20-second news stories I wrote. Okay, well, the WMD's not going to help me any because you can't use a WMD to take out a compromised opponent leader. To drop ships, I've got a, I'll go ahead and play one of the drop ships just to, if I can catch a third on the next round. Or maybe I could play them both, couldn't I? I mean, there's some risk to doing that, but I have 2 spots open. I think that's the move. All right. Quadrill's Art, hello. So for this broadcast, I've got a prize wheel for anybody that can beat me. I showed it off a little bit earlier. Here's a building card, so my opponent able to resurrect from the discard pile over there with 4 actions still to go this turn. Could be a weather card, trying to do something. I mean, as much as I'm in a position of having some advantage at the moment, if those weathers get played there, this could turn bad for me in a hurry. As noted, there's the weather card, so another roll for my opponent after this. There are some games that I'm just not going to be able to play. Anything that involves like a first-person view, I get motion sick very easily. So there are some things, even marbles or racing games that may seem innocuous to you, not so much for me. So my approach with streaming is a little bit different. There's a roll of 4 there off that weather card, drawing 4. That could be big. That WMD show up there didn't go unnoticed. Another weather card, so another roll coming up. Look at that 6 right there. And that happens sometimes in Warsaken Blitz. There's a WMD. Look, I'll be down to 0 territories.
Compromised.
How is the game audio sounding? Does it sound too loud? I don't want to... It's the opposite of last time where I... User error. All right.
Defeated.
Congratulations. Zeal victorious. Allow me a moment, please. Sound is fine. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, if I did this right, there we go. Presented by my land and alien worlds, Nary 3616. So let me make sure I got this written down here correctly before I go any further here, Zeal. I'll go through the list of 50. There's 1 uncommon, a bunch of very rares, some super rares, and the 1 epic there at the top. I'm going to need a moment to get situated. This is one part of it that's going to be unwieldy for the short term, and I can't really do anything about it at the moment, just the reality of the situation. I'm trying to juggle a few things. Let's see, put in good game. We'll get the spin going here in a second. Thank you, Zeal. I know it just was on screen there in the game, but it's a little different. I want to make sure I keep track of what I have here as far as the order of everything. All right. If I did this correctly, we'll be ready to spin here in a moment. So this is by way of wheelofnames.com. Presented by Nary 3616 and Alien Worlds. We start with Epic, Maisaki. I mean, it's not an overwhelming number of super rares, but pretty decent little selection. Some very rares. And then 1 uncommon. I just threw in there just to do it. So we're at 50 here. We're about to spin to find out. To join, hit exclamation point join. Type that in chat. That's one thing I didn't do properly, was set this up with the information. Here's the spin. All right, the very rare GR0 Edge 745. All right, sending the prize now. One thing I won't be able to do is show you the actual process of me sending it. It goes through the same computer I use for streaming. So give me a moment, please. I'll get that sent to you. I'll be able to post in chat the actual block of it. Or block isn't the word. What is the blockchain information about it over there? All right. So 0 Edge 745. Transfer. Prize from NashvilleLou Live. 5/22/2023. This will be coming from my fulfillments wallet. And it might make for better content if you could actually see this. Although part of it feels like there's a reason they don't show them filling out forms on game shows. You know, so I'm torn on that. But congratulations. Zeal 450 wins the VR GR 0 Edge number 745. Remove. It probably would have added to the drum if I would have shuffled it, so. We'll come back to this. So now I have to make sure I pull up the correct full screen here in OBS Studio before I use the F11 to switch to the Warsaken screen, which, if I will do this correctly, would work like this. There we go. Okay. We type here in chat. Type exclamation point join to enter queue, and I'll go ahead and advance in just a moment here. By just a moment, I mean now. Okay. If you can send me a code, that would be preferable. I mean, if you really need me to, I can. It's just, I have to actually, there's an extra step to it. It's not a copy paste for me the way this is set up. And maybe the answer to this is, you know, me having a more efficient setup. But some of this isn't something that I anticipated needing to have in place this soon. It's a good thing that people are that interested in Warsaken Blitz that, you know, there was an impetus to go ahead and get that going as far as prizes go. All right, thank you. Let me type that in here. Making sure I use the correct keyboard. And we'll use this one. Okay.
Warsaken.
Here we go. This is NashvilleLou Live playing Warsaken Blitz. All right. A little bit of a little housekeeping, as it were, with the paperwork there. And it's not even paperwork, it's text on a screen. Okay, this works. This is actually great. This draw right here, a pair of weathers, 2 different pairs of WMDs. Boy, I can risk putting that out there early, and if it gets attacked, that's okay. I got a nice surprise waiting. Let's keep it. No building cards to clog things up too much early, which is sometimes you can have too much of a good thing in Warsaken. As far as if you end up with, well, like these WMDs, 2 of these could potentially just end up being in the way. There's 3 of a kind with a force cards out of the gate. So I'm down to 3 territories. And it's still 2 actions for my opponent. Pair of force cards out there. Force card lets you either take out an opponent's territory, or if your opponent's leader is compromised, let you win the game. 6. Okay, this is great. I can play a weather. 3 of a kind, I'll get an extra roll. Extra turn. Extra roll the die. 3 more actions to take this turn. Again, normally I wouldn't be this aggressive with WMDs, but I've got 2 sets of 2. So I can do this, and if they get targeted by an intel, that's okay. And I've got 1 more. Again, 3 spots still open. You have 4 spots in total out there. You don't want to get that 4 spots filled up unnecessarily. I would not play this other WMD, though. I don't want to do anything with that. Keep those closer to the vest. 3 different solos as far as intel cards go. We'll go with the assassination attempt. And now I get another roll. All right. I'm actually going to leave that 3rd spot open. I'm not sure if that's the right play, but because I don't have anything that's 2 of a kind except for the WMD duo that I don't want to play yet, I think it makes more sense to keep it open for now. So I'll forego that 1 action. Be my opponent's turn. But I have been overwhelmed by the positivity and encouragement from the Warsaken community. There's some great people very much involved with this game. So my opponent plays an action card. 5. I've got a couple of pair options. I could pull the assassination attempt up because I don't have a second for that and play 2 doubles, and I'm going to do that actually. It might seem a bit frivolous, but if I would have drawn a pair of assassination attempts to pair with it, suddenly that's a great play. So I'll go with the intel. Pair of stolen blueprints. And I'll go with Igor. I just recently bought the Igor cards. 2 of those. I'm relatively new to actually playing Warsaken. And Warsaken Blitz more specifically, of course. But I've owned cards in Warsaken on wax for a long time now, and it's been a lot of fun to get to use them. There's 2 sets of 2 as far as force cards. There's a trio of weather cards. So that's going to be another roll of die for my opponent. 1 more action to go for this turn before the roll. 3. All right, so my opponent's got 11 cards. I'll have 11 before my roll even begins. My turn for the next round. Oh, triple intel. What I tell you about the WMD getting targeted? I mean, maybe I'll say that and they'll get ignored. I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me if 1 each. Yeah, 1 each. Okay. 1. We'll use the 1 action there to clear off the lone eagle remaining out there. My opponent rolls a 1. All right, 3 of a kind for a 4, so that's going to take out my second of 4 territories. I'm down to 2. But it's my turn. 5. Well, here's the downside of being aggressive with the WMD cards. Now I got that another one that dropped in. Yeah, I would need to get that 3rd and final one that who knows where that would be. Play, let's see, a pair of assassination attempts. I'll play the 2nd white phosphorus bomb. And let's see, stolen blueprints, let's look. Okay, I don't have any of those right now. So I'll go ahead and pull up the stolen blueprints. I'll end the turn there. Yeah, it's tough luck on that one. You know how it goes sometimes. And part of it, though, was have my opponent play that intel. Look at that, rolling a 6. Staring down a set of 2 with a WMD, set of 2 with a force. One more each would be the knockout, and there's a force right there. Ominous. All right, well, it's my turn. Look what I'm staring down there. Yikes. 3. All right, well, I can play the WMD at least. I could play the weather instead. Maybe that's the better play at this point since I'm very much at risk. Like me taking out 2 of 4 territories, I'm not looking to save face. I'm looking to do what makes the most sense to give myself a chance to win. I think the weather's the way to go. Let me see. It's always time to take a moment and take a look at what's already on the board. Make sure of it. So I'm going to play the trio weathers here. I'll take that extra turn. Here we go with the extra turn. 4. All right, well, I can play the WMD. I mean, that's going to leave that out there with no value, but that's, I mean, look what I'm up against right now. It's already dicey. Play the WMD.
Select target.
Bancare Island. And Mount Uptania production site. Eliminated. One more action for this turn. So that what I have out there with this is worthless, essentially. So I'll play one of my Z27s. But it's not going to take much for my opponent to have. Well, we'll see if they can get anything to. If they're all stuck with a bunch of 2s that don't match up, maybe it's a different story, but I don't know. 1. Well, let's see. Even if it's a WMD, I'd still survive to the next round. All right. My turn. 5. All right. Let's see. What do we have out there right now? That doesn't help me any. I've got the 2 with the intel. I don't know if that's the better play. Building could bring me back something, but I need those turns to play action or play force. I keep on calling them actions, but forces in particular. I mean, I could play the intel. I could do that. For starters, I already have 2. I've done the do-si-do enough with the assassination attempt in this match. So let's do a little bit of bouncing here. Being careful not to hit the red, but there's the bounce of the hit of 1.
Select target.
All right, so I've got 4. Getting another turn would be great. Do I have the weather to do it, though? I could go back to get a weather, but I wouldn't be able to play it this round if I use the building. I could play. Let's see, I've got the tank out there. So I can do that. Let's go into the Z27. Because there's no way to get the weathers and play them this turn.
Select target.
Horde of Karmasani. Eliminated. One territory remaining for my opponent. 2 actions to go for this particular turn. I mean, there's a risk if I put out 3 and 3 that, well, no, there's not really a risk. They're not going to be, my opponent's going to be worried about intel at this point. Well, I've got that one of just 100 Maisaki, the epic Maisaki on the prize wheel. We'll play the not quite epic level here one. To the tune of 2. Uh-oh, there's a roll of 6. So 6 cards for my opponent and 6 actions here. And this is where it's unclear, obviously, at this point, what effect the intel card that I used that knocked those down from 2 to 1, what impact that might be having right now on my opponent. 3 of a kind there. It's going to free up a space, too. I'll be down to 1 territory. So just the vast hinterland remaining for both of us. Uh-oh. Guess they were 4 deep on this one. Intel not enough. I'm compromised.
Compromised.
My opponent has 3 of a kind with a 4, so they can beat me right here. Two, but not 3. Here we go. 3. Okay. Any options for weather? No. Well, I'm gonna have to last one more turn.
Select target.
So vast hinterland will be the 3rd and or the 4th. 3 down and now 4.
Compromised.
Both up against it now. Play a pair of Agent and Zeras, but needed one more, didn't get it. This could be where it ends for me. 1. Well, let's see. All my opponent needs is to match up a 3rd force with either of those out there. Was that a robot dog? I get the laser beams. They get a 3rd one of those. It's going to come back to me. I think I'm going to win it here. Even with just a 2. I just needed 1. Agent Zera for the win.
Select target.
All right, good game. Yeah, I'm still getting used to when the voiceover guy's got his lines. Don't want to step on him. All right, good game. Give me just a moment, please, to get things situated. I went down to the wire for sure. Okay. All right. I'm going to advance. CMCSKI 123, you're up next. If you can provide a code, that'd be great. I mean, I can, if need be, I can get you one. It's just, it is easier for me if you can provide it. And for a moment here while we wait, take a quick look at the prize wheel. We had one prize given away earlier. It was in a nice, neat order, but then I shuffled it, so. But the star of the show is the epic Warsaken number 84 mint. Only 100 of those exist. So that's the star, but down to 49. And the way it's going for this broadcast tonight, people are playing me one-on-one. And for those that beat me, they get a spin on the wheel. So something fun. I'm still trying to learn the best way to do some of this, so some of it will definitely be a bit unwieldy. And here we go to... Okay, I've got the code from you there, and let me go ahead and type it in. Thank you very much. Making sure I use the correct computer. Oh, it helps if I type it correctly. That's a 6, not an E. Oh, come on. I think these are all designed to be as unwieldy as possible. It's actually not. It's just a user error on my part. And we'll use this deck.
Warsaken.
All right, thank you for providing the code. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to use a mulligan here. When I have 2 building cards out of the 8, I'm not a fan of that. Those take up spots early, kind of clog up your hand and cause you problems. Okay, this is my early analysis. Some of my gameplay strategy might not be optimized. I'll use a mulligan. That's more like it. Just the 1 building card I can live with. Have a pair of force cards that I can match up. Have 1 WMD, but not a whole handful of them. Let's keep it. I could have taken a second mulligan. That's a huge risk. You give your opponent an extra card when you do that too. So I try to avoid that. Let's have a really bad draw. My opponent, speaking of bad draws, opponent gets a 6 off the jump street. This is Warsaken Blitz, NashvilleLou Live. I'm your host, Lou Pickney. Warsaken Blitz is tremendous fun to play. It's great fun to live stream. Appreciate everybody taking the time to swing by and check it out here for a little bit. Some people playing here against me live. Appreciate that as well. Oh, is this going to be a morale-based attack? It is. See, morale. So we'll see how my deck holds up against... Oh, it's... Yeah. Against that. So it knocks my morale down to 13. Again, Vast Hinterland is the one land that has a -1. Now, it does have an impact on your leader as far as their starting amount. Still a better bet than the rest. -3. My personal choices with these, with the -3s. And we'll give you the tour later. About to get another morale plate on me. Endless morale. And there's Banclair Island, or Bancaire Island. Man, I'm getting run up against a bunch of morale up there. I roll a 1. Yikes. Okay. Well, we'll play the W1MG tank. It'll be my opponent's turn. I mean, if this is a heavy morale deck, then I could be in for a quick loss here. I wouldn't even mind that happening. It'd be interesting to see it. I have lost that way before. All right, roll to 2. A pair of WMDs, but I don't really want to put those out there. And yet that's so morale heavy as far as what they have. Still, I think that is risky, but I don't have anything else that even matches right now. So as much as I don't want to do it, I'm going to. And I've got the second tank I'm sitting on there, but... don't think I've ever seen an opponent play that many morale cards without anything else to start things off in a given match of Warsaken Blitz, but I'm still relatively new to this. And so there's still plenty I haven't seen as far as strategy goes, and look out for the morale. Down to 7 morale. So my opponent has 4 actions to go here for this turn. It's all morale. The details as far as the morale card apply to the full Warsaken game. Blitz is the simplified version. There's a pair of force cards that I recognize. 6, all right. Well, I can play the tanks.
Select target.
Mount Uptania. All right, so with the force card, I've taken my opponent down to 3 territories remaining. 4 actions for me remain here. I've got a couple of options, really. Let's see. Play the Tigers. I really shouldn't have 2 tanks in the same deck. It doesn't matter for Blitz, but just for the making sure I don't get confused on what I have where in a given deck. But this is still a learning process for me, though, as far as learning what makes the most sense and what approaches to use. So we'll play a pair of Control the Messages. These are intel cards. Intel cards let you bounce 3 of your opponent's cards off the board. You can also make them discard 3 cards from their hand, but they get to pick which 3. Or you can mill their deck, take 6 from their arsenal, send it to the discard pile. Once I learned the basics on how to play just when you're targeting territories, I think there might be some sneaky decks you can put together and catch some people unawares. All right, so 1 action to go for my opponent. Now it's my turn. 1. All right. I'm not going to play anything here. I'm going to leave that 4th position open. I don't like filling up with 4 if I don't have at least something to, for the next turn, make 3 of a kind. So even with 1 action, I'll leave it on the board, and in my turn, you don't get to bank it. It doesn't carry over. My opponent rolls a 2. I'm really impressed by some of y'all that are able to do the 4 at once. I know Quadrell, that's something that you do very well. 4 games going at once. It's just... Meanwhile, I'm trying to concentrate on just 1 game. Some of y'all playing 4 people at once, having conversations, very chill about it, very calm. Man. All right, so a force takes out 1 of my territories. I'm down to 3. Just like my opponent. 1 action to go for my opponent here. And my morale is hanging here perilously at 4. I'm glad I don't have any -4 territories as far as morale. That's -3, but you can see we're -4 and having 4 morale remaining, how that could be a problem. My turn. 6. Oh, this is not good. I have an open spot. I've got all sorts of two of a kind, but that's it. And I've got 6 actions here. Oh, this is a nightmare. Okay, let's think about this for a second. What do we have out there right now? WMD, I'm gonna leave that. Intel, the tanks. I mean, if I'm taking out 2, I'm just putting in 2 of a kind to replace it. The WMD's right here, 2 of a kind. The problem is, and that just invites an Intel to go take 1 of each out, and then what do you do? Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm hoping to make it make sense. I don't want to give people bad advice. Okay. I think the Intel might almost be the most pressing thing to put out there, but I don't know if I should do that. I got 6, but I mean, I'm wasting 6 or I'm wasting 4 and filling up that spot. I've never done this before. I'm about to pass on 6 actions in this turn. All of them. Oof. Oh, that hurt. I did not want to do that. Even a game of playing for fun, I don't want to do that. Wow. I've envisioned that possibility happening before. That's the first time I've run across it. Rolling a 6 with 3 spots filled up with 2 and a bunch of 2 of a kinds. And not even enough. I mean, maybe there would be a cause to be made for pulling up the intels and putting a couple actions out there, maybe. But, I mean, those morales are staring me down. If anything, I think intel needs to be more heavy for me at the moment. And yet, what do you do? And there's a 6. Uh-oh. This could be it. I mean, maybe that's a... No, maybe not. Maybe not this turn, but... Yeah, WMD, those morales. The morale's going to take me down to 1 morale. So I'd still have... They couldn't do it all in 1 turn as far as compromising my leader and taking me out. Although, if they played a WMD, if that took out 2 of my territories, that would take my morale to 0. If they had 3 actions to play, well, here we go. It's going to take me down to 1 morale. WMD or not. Well, this is interesting. I've just not had very much experience with this particular part of the game, so this is interesting. Oh,
Compromised.
I thought it was only took 3 away from your morale. You see how well I know the game, huh? Still learning stuff. Uh-oh. Well, only positives that WMD out there doesn't cause any sort of concern for me, since a WMD can't take out your leader. There is some balance to it. It'll take out 2 opponent territories, but I'm already compromised, so that part doesn't matter. Uh-oh. If that's 3 of a kind action, or 3, I keep saying action. Action's the turn itself. The moves you make. That's 3 of a kind force. The 0 morale means my leader's compromised. All right, that's the game. Good game. All right. CMC SKI 123 victorious. So let me get things set up here. We'll go ahead and spin the prize wheel. This is Warsaken Blitz, NashvilleLou live. Entering hour number 2 here on Twitch. Now it's not that difficult. I just have to pull up one screen and pull down another to get the wheel of names pulled up here. The prize wheel. I say wheel of names, that's what I use, the website. Okay. This is presented by my land in Alien Worlds, Neri 3616. Top prize out of this is 1 out of 49 chance you're getting an epic right here. This My Saki number 84. A bunch of very rare, some super rare, and 1 uncommon. Good game. Good game. I need to learn morale better. I was thinking it was only 3 that it took away from me, not 4. Although it wasn't like there was anything I could do about it at that point anyway. When you roll a 6 and you can't do anything, and you've got a handful of like 2 of a kind, sometimes you get the breaks. So we'll roll here in just a second. I'm still very new to this aspect of it as far as the prize giveaway. Let me shuffle it a few times. Mix it up quite nicely. And so I'm going to click on it. 71% winning percentage. Nice. So this is where I'm still so new to this that I don't even have a good grasp yet on win percentages and such with various decks. All right, here we go. Let's see. All right. So it's a very rare successful mole hunt number 880. All right. So which, as far as, do you want the wallet that was in game for you there as far as where I send that, or? Okay. Oh, morale hits. Oh. You're right. It's -6 for the morale. I want to make sure I send things to the right place. So I'll go ahead, while you get that information to me, I'll go ahead from that transfer I made earlier, and I'll get the link to that in here posted from the first giveaway from earlier. This was prize number 1 from earlier. That was the prize from earlier, the proof that I sent it. Just let me know if you would, please, which, well, I mean, I know it was in the game there for on screen, but I'm already past that point. I don't think, no, I did write down. Is it the IJQRK? Is that you? I want to make sure that's the right one, because I know some people have multiple wallets. This will be coming from my fulfillments wallet. Okay, great. I've got that copied. We'll get that sent out to you right now. Some of this, I wish I could speed it up a little bit, and I'm sure I will once I get a little bit of experience with this. I just want it to look as clean as possible on air. I mean, that to me is an important part of it, to try and look. I mean, you know, even this is something that's very much a casual. It's for fun, but I think it's still something I want to have. I want to present it as well as possible. Make sure I send the right version of it. So it's a very rare, successful mole hunt number 880. And I imagine visually this would make for pretty decent content on stream. But it's just not possible the way to set up, at least for me tonight. So I was afraid I didn't copy it all the way through. Okay, let's try that again. Like, to me, that's like dead air. Like years of TV and radio consultants rattling my head. Keep it going, Pickney. All right. I'll put the address, and then I'll put, so you'll know where it came from, NashvilleLou. Prize. I'll put today's date. NashvilleLou Live. Prize. Double checking. Sending. All right. So it shows it as sent. All right, so I'll post that in chat. Here is the, I'll put sent. And then the link. I know it's a big, kind of unwieldy link, but that's got the info for you there. All right, so we'll get things moving on here in just a second. Man, that's not, I was wondering how long it was going to be until I botched the full screen stuff. Oh, I'm going to have to find a better way with some of this. But that's okay. We'll get there. All right. Because now I can't even... I need to find a way to... All right. So I'll go into chat here, use the exclamation point code to... All right. Reload. All right, great. You got the code for me. Awesome. I'll go ahead and type that in right now.
Warsaken.
Make sure my notes, I had everything written down from before, and I do. So now we're all set to get things going here with NashvilleLou. All right, good luck, have fun. Yes, for sure. Exclamation point. Okay. So I've got a couple of... The WMD combo is nice. Nothing else that matches up, but nothing to really get in the way to bog things down early. Although I do have three out of the 8 being WMD isn't ideal. But I'm good with it. Let's see. Keeping it. And I get to go first. 3. Welp. Sometimes you get the breaks in Warsaken Blitz. 3 of a kind, WMD out of the deck. Out of the gate. End of the game.
Select target.
Just like that, my opponent's going to be down to 2 territories. Mount Uptania. And -6. I've already locked that one in. Again, if I were targeting morale, it'd be a little different. But that's what I'm talking about, where if your opponent has those higher negative numbers for morales, that can be... That could be an area you can look to focus. I want to lay out as far as the voiceover guy. I'm still trying to get the timing down. Oh, back to me. 2. All right. So nothing up there on the board. It's open-ended to that end. I mean, that's with the WMD play. The other one has no value. That's why it's darkened out like that, if you were wondering. So a lot of different options as far as forced cards, all single cards, but enough room where I can go and put a couple out there and just see what happens. I'm not sure if this is actually the best way to do it, but I have those open spaces. I think it's worth trying here. Because if up to 4 spots you can fill up there. All right, 3 of a kind there with that tank. It's a force. Force will take out my first territory. I'll be down to 3. And everybody's going to have their own way of live streaming. And I imagine people, especially people live streaming other languages, and people have different ways of communicating. I'm a sports broadcaster. I'm used to trying to make things make sense for people. 6. All right. Well, the Igor, I can play the Force and the Intel. With only 9 cards, that might be more of a sting than you would normally think in this spot. I don't know, though. Play the Igor. I'll think about it for a moment. Yeah, I could get rid of the pair of Force cards sitting out there, but then it feels wasteful. I could just wait a turn, but then you won't want to do that. See, the Fermi Energy Plant is -4. Okay. That's 7 morale, but again, I don't have any morale in my deck. And here's the intel option I have here. I think I'll play the pair of Freezing Rainstorms and wait a turn. I'd really prefer to get maximum damage out of it, but yet, I don't know. If I'm ever going to make somebody discard, early is better. They haven't played a WMD yet. Let's do this and see what happens. I'm still learning with this stuff. There are 3 options when we play an intel. I mentioned the bounce. Legion's what it's called. When it's out there on the battlefield, Legion, you got 4 spots. Milling is the term for trying to wear down your opponent's deck, which in this game is called an arsenal. Enemy discard 3. Again, if you're going to use this option, you want to use it as early as possible in the game, at least in my experience. Most often when an opponent plays an intel, they're going to try and take 3 of your cards out of your Legion there, out of the board, off the board, and into your discard pile. I'll play one of the freezing rainstorms. I guess they're still discarding. Oh, do I have to wait? Did I show poor form there? Can I just keep playing stuff? I'm kidding, but I'm not. Oh, it's their turn. What am I doing? Okay. Sometimes things advance quicker than I'm paying attention. My opponent rolled a 1. If you'd like to play Warsaken Blitz, feel free to join. Hit !, join. Type that in chat. You can join the queue. There's 6. Hey, Pickney, joke's on you, pal. There's a trio of WMDs. I'll be down to 1 territory. Three more actions for this turn for NashvilleLou. My turn. 1. Well. Bit by bit, we'll get that freezing rainstorm. 2. Okay, well, at least my opponent, in theory, shouldn't be able to play any sort of intel this turn to ruin my plans with the weather. Speaking of weather, a pair of weather cards played there. My turn. 5. Okay. I'll have another roll of the die. I could take extra actions, but I want another roll of the die. Alright, I've got 3 spots open there in my Legion. I play a pair of Nathan Smiths, play a pair of Blinding Sandstorms. The Nathan Smith duo, Blinding Smith duo, double force, double weather. I mean, the order doesn't matter. I'll play the weathers first. The Blinding Sandstorm. And then this is another one of those cards I just picked up today. One for commons on most of them, or just some new stuff that I didn't have in my collection. I had some very rare stuff, but some of the common stuff I didn't have as much of. But we'll play the pair of Nathan Smiths. It's a nice variety for the decks for the stream, and here's another roll. It's a 6. All right. I'm going to win the match here, I think, because they're down to 1 territory. Nathan Smith.
Select target. Select target.
It's the remix. Port of Karma. What is that? The port's out.
Leader compromised.
All right, 5 actions. My Saki, the Force, is going to take out my opponent's leader. And that's going to be the match.
Select target. Leader eliminated. Victory.
All right, good game. All right, Warsaken Blitz, NashvilleLou live. Give me just a moment, if you would, please, to get things situated here. Good. We'll hit next. All right, Rusky Music, you're up next. If anybody else wants to challenge, now's the time. Go ahead and type in !, join in chat. If you could provide the code, I'd appreciate it. I mean, if you need me to, I can, but it really has worked easier, I think, with people providing it. For a moment here while we wait. Take just a moment to look at the prize wheel. Gave that away just a few moments ago. That has us down to 48 on the prize wheel. It was nice and neat order when I started, then I shuffled it a few times. The epic Warsaken. Here we go. That's the one that people are going to want the most off of that. 1 in 48 chance for this particular live stream at this particular time. So let's see if I can get the order right on this. Bring the slate up. Use the F11 to switch the inputs on this particular setup. And the F11 to take the Warsaken app full screen. Got that, and that. All right. All right. And here we go.
Warsaken.
Thank you for providing the code. Whatever reason, with this layout, that particular part of it gets a little bit cumbersome. I'll have to start typing it. All right. Well, let's see. Oh, this is a mulligan right here. I could keep it to have a pair of buildings that match, but early on you can't even play them, so there's really not much use. They're more of a nuisance early. Buildings can save you later in a match, though. So I'll use my mulligan. That's a reshuffle and another shot at it. Look at this. Nothing matches. I mean, these all have maybe I should pick some different weathers to kind of mix things up a little bit. But in this case, cloudy skies aren't enough for a match. I'm going to take a second mulligan. That gives my opponent an extra card. I don't get any. This is it. Whatever they give me is what I get. And I get to go first. 1. Okay, a moment to take in what we have here. I have a pair of sent architectural plans. And that's as far as things that match. There aren't any building cards. And there are not any WMDs. We'll play the Intel since the only thing I have any sort of a match with thus far. I only have one action I can take there, so we'll do that. And it'll be my opponent's turn. Warsaken Blitz, NashvilleLou live. It's a roll of 4 for my opponent. So that force took out one of my territories. I'm down to 3 territories. 1 action to go for my opponent here in this round. There's a building card for my opponent. It's my turn. 5. Well, a couple of doubles over there. You have the sent architectural plans that I can still... In fact, I'll go ahead and play the second one of those first. 4 more actions. We'll double up on the weathers. 2 terrifying storms. 2 violent tornadoes. I mean, choose that red part right there. It plays as many as you have actions or cards available up to the maximum. Saves you a little bit of time. But be careful with it, because there's no going back once you click that button. But again, Warsaken Blitz is a simplified version of Warsaken. And that game, when it's finally ready to go, I think it's going to be tremendous fun. But Blitz makes it easy to learn how things work in general in Warsaken and the different categories. And in and of itself, it's a fun game. 3. Okay. Got the pair of D24 eyes. Nothing out there to make 3 of a kind, though. And I don't like filling up that 4th spot. So I'll go ahead and end the turn and forego those 3 actions there this round. My opponent's turn. My opponent rolled a 1. Pair of force cards staring me down there. 1. Oh, but it's a tornado. All right. That's 3 of a kind for the weather. I'm getting an extra turn. And here we go. 5. Now we're in business. WMD time. I've had this card for a long time. By wax standards, a long, long time. And it's cool to get to finally use it in game. Especially like this. 3 of a kind.
Select target.
We'll take out the golden farmlands. And we'll take out the Drighton oil fields. Alright, I have 2 spots in my Legion open. I'll play 2 of my 3 S21Rs. Now it's my opponent's turn. 6. Uh-oh. It worries me that an intel might get played. And that one I've got 3 of a kind there might get impacted. What did I just say? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll mill my arsenal. Nope. Oh, I already told you it was going to happen, huh? Boom, boom, boom. That nice 3 of a kind I had got busted up. That's the risk you take putting part of a 3 of a kind out there like I did. Because you don't know for your next turn if you're going to roll a 3. You might roll a 2 or a 1 and not be able to make that play at all. So there's risk to it. It's a pair of force cards. 1 action to go for my opponent for this round. My turn. 6. Okay. I'll have my opponent... Let's see. My opponent's leader is going to be compromised. I'll have a pair of... Well, let's see. Maybe not. Oh, no, those are intel cards. Well, I can... All's fair in turnaround, right? So I'll play the trio of Control the Messenger. I'll go 1 each on those. Then I'll play the D24 eyes, and that'll be, yeah, I think that would qualify as a productive turn. So 3 of a kind with the intel, you get that option. You can bounce, the enemy discard, or the mill. At this point, the bounce. Clear choice, go 1 each. Don't hit the red one, because that will take out both of them and you don't get to undo it.
Select target. Select target.
So for each of those, the 2 of a kind, I chose bounce, just 1. All right. I'll go ahead and play 3 of my 4 D24 eyes.
Select target.
It's going to take my opponent down to 1 territory. We'll go after the Fermi energy plants. So it's 1 territory left for my opponent. Rolled a 1 there. One. Play one of my assassination attempt cards. It's a bit of risk doing that because I'm kind of laying it out there. I'm willing to fill up that 4th spot. 5. And I mention that because that might make that card I just played a potential target for an intel, but after already having been hit with 1 recently, there might not be 1 waiting for me. Hard to know. Six. See, it gave me the good game there in chat, but I'm not sure it's over yet. Oh, no, I've got to do the assassination attempt thing first.
Select target.
I don't think this is an ideal spot for an intel. I'm going to use it here. Got 4 actions to go for this round. We'll use the trio John Riders.
Select target.
Horde of Karmasani.
Compromised.
So I've compromised my opponent's leader. I'm going to pull up the intel card to, just in case I don't think there's any other productive use for this action here. I'd be filling up a 4th spot if I played one of my Romans. Got a pair of the Romans prototype. The plural trips me up sometimes with that, but I have this one in a... It was a G-Force. It was kind of fun to use that. Or as the end game goes, roll a 3 for my opponent. Feel free to join the queue. Type exclamation point join in chat. Well, that's interesting with the G-Force right there. The G covering up the Force logo there. Logo is not the right word for it, maybe, but emblem. All right, cool. Thank you. Thank you. We're joining the queue. 1. Well. Played one of the Romans prototype cards. So in Warsaken Blitz, when you reach the point where your opponent has 0 territories left, or their morale hits 0, or they have 0 cards in their arsenal, at that point, their leader becomes compromised. And you just need to play 1 trio of force cards, take out your opponent's leader and win the match. There's a pair of intels right there. 5. I need 1 more force. And I should be able to make the win. Get the win right here with the S21-R. 3 of a kind with a force.
Select target.
There we go. That's the match. Good game. All right. Good game. This is Warsaken Blitz NashvilleLou Live. You would just allow me 1 moment to get things figured out. All right, so I need to hit exclamation point next. And then I'll bump us up. Second matchup against Shiloh. If you want to give me the connect code, please just let me know on that, and we'll get things going here right away. And here we go. Thank you. Yes, good luck, have fun, for sure. All right.
Warsaken.
And you see how quickly things can move in Warsaken Blitz when you have one opponent after another. It's fast-paced, but you can still be conversational with it. All right, I like this. A pair of WMDs, a pair of forces, no building cards early. I like all of that. Let's keep it. And I have the privilege of going first. 3. All right, well, Start strong with a trio of force cards, the Z27 Tiger.
Select target.
Go for the energy plants. My opponent rolls a 6. They're down to 3 territories. And right back at me. 3 of a kind force. I'm down to 3 territories. Alright, a force card and a weather card out there. One of each for that. My turn. 4. Alright. I can double up each with the ideal conditions and the blinding sandstorm. Again, the red. If I had 3 of a kind, it would play all 3 at once, so be careful when you use this. I'd love to have 3 of a kind here, but just something to keep in mind. And we'll play the pair here as well with the blinding sandstorm. Now it's my opponent's turn. 2. All right, pair of WMDs. My turn. 2. Okay, got 2 spots in my Legion open, so I can play a 2 of a kind. I think it's best to use some caution as far as throwing those WMDs out there. So I'll play a pair of Nathan Smiths. So roll of 3 for my opponent. There's 3 of a kind with a WMD. I'm gonna be down to 1 territory. There's 2 of a kind for that force card. Now it's my turn. 6. Okay. I'm going to compromise my opponent's leader. We'll start with a WMD.
Select target.
Sanctuary. Mount Uptania. Three actions to go this turn. Play that 3rd Nathan Smith.
Select target.
There's the 4th territory for my opponent.
Compromised.
Kind of an interesting spot here. 2 weather cards each out there for the 2 spots. I just need 1 trio of action cards to win the match if I can get that put together. Nothing that jumps out at me offhand. I've got an Igor, a Mai, and a Roman. I could go with a Soldier's Barracks for now. Play 2 of a kind just to get those out there. That could come into play. I think it's better than just throwing out a random one-off force without any sort of a second card even. Go ahead and play the pair of barracks. And hope that I at least get another turn. Roll a 4 for my opponent. Three of a kind with a force.
Compromised.
There's a 3rd one of these right up there. It's not, though. There'd been a 3rd to go with that. It would have been the match. Instead, I get another roll. Let's see what I have here. 2. Well. I could play a pair of intels, but I don't know. I don't think that's the right move with the intels. I don't think playing any particular force card right now is the right move. Hey, Rabbit Larry, hello. Thank you for joining the queue. All right, so even though I have the 2 actions I could take here, I'm going to forego them and end my turn. Big roll right here for my opponent. It's a 5. Remember, it's just one more force trio. There's a 2 of a kind sitting out there. A trio of force cards would end the match, and I would lose. 1, 2, and 3. That's a building. The building lets you go into your discard pile and choose 3 cards. 2, but only 2 there with a force. Let's see what I can pull here. It's a 3. Okay, I can play a weather card here. Weather card's gonna give me another roll of the die. Yeah, I do have 2 gold assassination attempts, yeah. I've got some cool cards I've had for a really long time. I think there are people early on that bought packs and didn't know the value of what they had or didn't perceive it as such. And so I was able to, I mean, they weren't cheap, but it was less than I'd be paying now. Let's see, so 2 plays to go for this round, but remember I get another roll to die. So I've got 2 spots open, I don't have to worry about protecting it. We'll play the pair of my Sakis, hope that I maybe get one. If even if I roll a 1, if just one of these pops in my hand, I can win the match here. Like that's going to be the approach I take. Now for the weather play, they give me the extra roll to die. Here we go. It's a 4. Oh my. Well, okay. I can play the intels. I will play the intels, so I can at least take out 1 each of those forces. All right, so I'm going to bounce.
Select target. Select target.
Wait a minute, did that one not keep?
Select target.
Guess not, okay. Want to take it slow on this, be sure and pick the right ones. Okay, there's 2 of a kind with this weather. So we'll go with a terrifying storm for the 3rd. All right, 1 more action. And yet I'm going to leave it open for this turn. Leave that 4th spot open to my Legion. End turn. So my opponent rolled a 4. If they got 3 of a kind with a force, they can use 1 of those actions to pull a card up, and the remaining 3 actions to go boom, boom, boom with the force. They're not going to need to pull that first part of it, though. They got 3 of a kind. They're going to win the match right here. Shiloh gets the win.
Defeated.
All right, good game. All right, congrats. All right, so give me just a moment. We'll get things going here with the prize wheel. And this is still a bit of a learning process for me as far as the sequence of order. The sequence of events as far as what I click on OBS Studio. Again, years in the TV news business, but on the producing and not the technical directing end. So it's something new for me that is a fun challenge. Sometimes not so much fun, but sometimes fun. So here we go. This is presented by my Landed Alien Worlds, Neri 3616. It's the prize wheel, where I spin it. Give you a look. It's a lot of very rares, some super rares. The star of the show is the Epic, the My Saki number 84. Only 100 of those. And then 1 uncommon. So we've had a couple of winners already tonight. A couple of very rares. Let's see if there's a super rare or maybe even the Epic. We'll give it a few shuffles. Wheelofnames.com. And they seem to do it seems legit to me as far as I can tell. I certainly can't do anything to twist it, nor would I want to. All right, it's a very rare Private John Blackthorne number 614. All right, congrats. And so if you would please let me know, do you want to go to that? Is the Shiloh.gm? Is that the, I wrote the wrong thing down here. Is that the address? Do you like me to send it to the wax address? Make a note of everything that I give away. And I'm sure there's a positive visual element to doing this where you can see on screen when I actually do the fulfillment. I can put the link, and I will put the link up after I send it here in just a moment. Oh, that's for your Warsaken games. The ULG, is that the one? I see we put set wax. I probably don't have things set up for some of the stuff in here like some people do, as far as anything automated with wax addresses. Hopefully soon we're going to have that where it'll be very easy, or at least easier than what it is now as far as that goes. All right, so if you would give me a moment. Again, I have to do this on the same computer that I use for my streaming, and it's a different computer altogether that I use for playing the game, and then for the Wheel of Names as well. And I might switch. I've never used this before, the Wheel of Names, so this is somewhat new to me. And it's coming from my fulfillments wallet. For some reason, it gave me asterisks for your address. I don't know if that's something to do with my mod settings. I'm going to take a look at that. I don't want this. People trying to pass along information. It's starting it out on me. Yeah, it's showing. You know what? Maybe that's because. Let me look at it in the. That's in OBS Studio showing up with that. Yeah, it's showing up as asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The way it showed up to me. No, I use two computers. I've got a third computer for like my business computer, other stuff at my work desk, and then I've got two computers for streaming. Because I've got to be set up to do live sports broadcasts. If somebody can beam me a signal, I'm in a spot here where I can do live play-by-play and send it out. I'm fortunate to live in an area that has high-speed internet available. So let me go ahead and get this sent, and we'll get the next match started here soon. This element is where it really impresses me with some people. Their ability to keep a conversation going and do like 10 things at once. Well, thank you. Thank you. So we're going to be sure the ULGEM address is correct. I just want to make sure it's going to the correct place. The NashvilleLou Live Prize. May 22nd, 2023. Correct. Excellent. Okay, thank you. I don't know why I put it up as asterisk before. Sometimes Twitch does weird things with wax addresses. So I'm going to double check, make sure I've got the right one, and I do. And so it'll be the very rare Private John Blackthorne number 614 heading your way. All right. It says success, which is what I like to see. I'll go ahead and go to my transfers. I can do this. Again, this would probably be pretty decent content if I had it up on screen, but it's not viable. It would be unwieldy to do it that way right now, but maybe I'll figure it out at some point. Okay. So there is the proof of the transaction there. I'll go ahead and bring the slate back up. And now we'll get right back into it. I'll go ahead and use the next command. Well, thank you for playing. Next. Yeah, they're separate scenes. I've got a scene for this part and then a scene for the prize wheel. But it's, I don't know. I have to sit down. I'm going to have to spend some time with this. Some of this was put together kind of hastily today because I hadn't anticipated this timetable, but I'm fine. That's fine. That's, look, I've worked under time constraints in television for a long time. I can handle it. All right. Yeah, you're right. I can make it a separate scene. There's a way to do it. It's just the way I have it set up tonight. Just the way it's laid out. It's a little tricky. So if you want to provide, if you can give me the, what is it? A code. Get that code, we can go ahead and get the next match going here. You can feel free if you want to play again. That's fine. We'll keep it going. Join the queue. Okay, that sounds good. Okay. Okay, I just got the code there. Sorry, I scrolled down for a second. Again, I can only imagine the challenges with the logistics on some of this for streams where you have people that are just like, where it's like non-stop chatter. We got a lot of, yeah, okay, I am typing the right one. I was paranoid for a second. I was typing in the wrong category there, or on the wrong keyboard, on the wrong screen. The proverbial muscle memory or practice to know, okay. Once you get it down, it's rather easy with that sort of thing. All right, here we go. I've got a pair of riders here. I've got the one building card. 2 fire in the fields. And this is where I'm torn sometimes when it comes to streaming and having cards that look alike and cards that are easier to tell if they're a trio. We'll keep it. 4. Okay, well, we'll play a pair of riders and a pair of dropships. And sometimes I'll respond and think, well, maybe I should write it in chat as well. So I'll put that in there. We'll play the 2 fire in the fields to get the weathers out there. I've got a pair of forces as well. I have a few options, but that's all I can do for this turn. This is Warsaken Blitz, NashvilleLou live. My opponent rolled a 5. A pair of weather cards. A pair of force cards. And then a single intel card. My turn. 2. Okay, well, I've got 2 spots open there in my Legion, so I'll play a pair of dropships. Now it's my opponent's turn, my enemy's turn. So I've got a pair, I mean, they don't match, but I've got 1 each as far as singles with the intels, a couple of one-offs with the forces, 1 weather. These building cards are starting to take up some space. But the intel's going to help me as far as using building cards. May have to go fishing here in a minute. You see the pair of John Riders and the dropship taken out. All right. It's another force card. My turn. 3. 2 of a kind for the WMD. We'll play a pair of guard towers. And I'll use my remaining action to take the standalone dropship off the board. So out of the Legion, back to the hand. That's it for my turn. It's my opponent's roll. So a building card for my opponent. Okay, my turn. Roll to 5. Well, nothing that matches anything out there. I'll play. I mean, it's a guessing game, regardless of which of the duo forces I go with here. I have a bunch of intel cards that don't match up. We'll play the needles. But for the purposes of Warsaken Blitz, the force cards do the same thing in this game, regardless if it's a Roman's prototype, a Z-27 Tiger, or any of the other force cards. Roll a 3. Well, I got 3 more turns. I'm here, I'm yakking away, and it's still my turn. And I hate to leave it on the board like that, but I even more so hate to take up that 4th spot if I don't have any obvious way to clear things quickly for the next turn. My opponent, I'm going now. All right, my opponent rolls a 2. So it's a pair of force cards out there. I've been having tanks doubling up. Man, imposing. 6. All right. Well, I've got weather cards. The fire in the fields. So I already have 2 of those out there. That's first and foremost. Play fire in the fields. I'll get the extra turn. And that's to go with that on top of the 5 I've got remaining as far as the actions go. Building. Now I'll be able to bring 3 cards back from my discard pile. Could bring back the weather cards. There's no real reason to go after the pair of John Riders. I could get the drop ship, but I still have only 2 of a kind, so it's, you know. Although I'm talking about the soldier barracks, and there's the guard tower staring me down. If I want to play that yet, I might not want to. But I'm going to have to here. I can do this and play the weather. Oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'll return 3 to my hand. I'll bring back the trio of fire in the fields. I still have, 4 actions to go for this turn. Fire in the fields. 3 of a kind. So now I have 2 extra turns. I mean, I don't know if at some point it probably becomes counterproductive to keep going back. I only have 1 more that I can play for this round. I guess I'll go ahead and play one of these. Soldier barracks. All right, my first of 2 extra turns. 1. But trio of weather cards. Play one of those. Okay. So my second extra turn. 1. Oh, the game's punishing me. Pickney enough already. Let somebody else have a turn. All right, well, we'll play a second blinding sandstorm and hope it survives the next round. We'll see. I can't believe that 1-1. But that's part of the risk you take by going with that extra turn instead of the 3 extra actions. You might not get 3 actions with a roll of die. You may get 1. And another 1. My opponent rolled a 5. Uh-oh. That's intel. Two actions to go. There's a force. Trio of force cards to take out one of my territories. Our vast hinterland. This time the vast wasn't last taken out. 1 action to go, and it's a weather card. My turn. 6. Okay. Question is if going into my discard pile for 3 cards at this point is the move to make. I got 6 action. I've got plenty of choices. I mean, that's probably going to be what I do now. Got 2 each on the WMDs. I'm not going to find any of those in there. I mean, I already know I'm going to find in there. Okay, well, I'll play the intels first. I'll use the intel trio to bounce 3 of my opponent's cards.
Select target. Select target.
All right, now 3 actions to go for this turn. And before you use a building, you can always take the time and go and look in your discard pile, figure out what you're going to get. It typically helps to do that. But this is where it gets a little bit awkward because I haven't played any trios of forces yet. So, I mean, it's like the weather cards. Like, So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring back 3 weather cards, doing it again. If that's the approach. And it will be what I do here, I think. And I don't think this is the ideal move, but sometimes circumstances necessitate certain things in this game. Fire in the field. I'll use the red outlined circle there to take all 3 at once. My opponent's turn. 3. All right, it's an intel. Oh, going after my arsenal there. 6 cards to the discard pile. Remember, in Warsaken Blitz, if your arsenal hits 0, your leader becomes compromised. 1. I'll play one of my 3 Romans prototype cards. That's it for my turn. That's a roll of 1 for my opponent. So 2 of a kind there. That force. 5. All right. Now we can do some business. We'll play the WMD. The WMD, take out 2 of your opponent's territories. Golden Farmlands. Tankare Island. Eliminated. And now I already have 1 Romans prototype out there on the board. I'll play the other 2 to go with it. 4. It's an epic level, vast hinterland. Save the vast for last. We'll go for Mount Uptania. It doesn't really matter with Warsaken Blitz, but this is going to be your best approach. If you ever decide to go with a morale-based deck, certainly. That's my enemy's turn. And the reason I say that with the vast hinterland is because it's -1 morale. That's the lowest as far as anything that, when it's taken out, affects your morale. Everything else is at least -3. So a 6 for my opponent. Trio of weather cards, so my opponent will have an extra, extra turn. Here's the WMD. I'll be down to 1 territory. 6. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, there's a trio of weather cards, so it'll be another roll to die for my opponent. 1, but if one of theirs matches up as a forest card, they can take out my 4th and final territory. That's what we have. All right.
Compromised.
So taking out my 4th territory has left my leader compromised, but it's my turn. 2. Oh, this is trouble. It's a great idea to play weather if you have at least a roll of 3. So I'm going to play 2 weather cards here, but that's going to end my turn. And that's all I can do here. Unless I decide, okay, that's not going to be worth it. Play a couple of Z27 Tigers and hope that I catch something with that and maybe the... I don't know, there's too much if and maybe with that for my liking. So I'm going to play a couple of fire in the fields and we'll see where that gets us. My opponent's turn. My enemy's turn. My leader compromised. They get a 3rd force card to match up with those 2 right there. That G1 Fox Buster. What a name. Sounds like something from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Roll a 5. It's just going to take a trio of force cards to knock me out. Is this going to do it? That's 2. Oh. That's 2. 3. Oh. Points for showmanship. That's low roll. All right, congratulations. Good game. Oh, no worries. That made it entertaining. All right. Well, if you'll give me just a moment, we'll get things ready to go with the prize wheel. No roll? You don't want? You sure? You're welcome to it if you want to. If you don't want to roll, that's okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. Well, I appreciate you participating and playing. I see so much potential with Warsaken and live stream with Twitch, especially once I get my act together with some of this stuff as far as the, oh, sorry if that just blasted the microphone at the side of my headset. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this going to the next one here. Rusky Music up next. You can send me a code. We'll get things ready to go here for just a moment. All right, got the code there. Thank you. I'll put that in. All right.
Warsaken.
All right, here we go. Match here with Rusky Music. Nothing matches. I have 1 building card there. I'll use my mulligan. Mulligan gives you a fresh look at 8. Now, I'm going to use the double mulligan. Give my enemy an extra card, but 2 of the 8 being buildings. Nothing strong as far as anything pairing up. No way. Mulligan. At least I got to go first. Roll a 5. You don't really get much of a chance to evaluate what you have. And plenty of buildings, but plenty of other cards with a 5. Nothing that I can make serious headway with. I'll play a pair of Z27 Tigers. 3 actions to go for the round. up one each of the WMDs, a couple of Intel standalones, a John Rider. I'll play one each of the weathers. Maybe that's not the best move, but it's what I'm going to do. And I'll leave that remaining action for this round unused. End turn. Hey, Soul the Cat, hello. Thank you for joining the queue there. So I roll a 5 for my opponent, 3 of a kind with a WMD. Fast out of the gate. I'll be down from 4 territories to 2. So the WMD effective. I'm down to 2 territories. 2 actions to go here for my opponent this round. Oh, so you finally got back from Hawaii. Because I've never been to Hawaii, I know there's some unique challenges with, like, planes can't just fly in 24/7 in Hawaii. They gotta have some quiet time. So I know it gets interesting. How'd the trip go? All right, 3 of a kind here. I'm 4 deep with buildings that I can't use, which isn't helpful. I got a pair of drop ships. I can at least play that. And I've got 1 more turn. I'll pull up one of the weathers. Again, there's some risk to putting singles out there like that. I don't know if that really is the best move, but if I hadn't, I would have had an extra turn here at the end I wouldn't have used anyway. So I'll pull up the Terrifying Storm, or let me give another look to be sure I didn't overlook anything, and nope. So I'll pull up the Terrifying Storm back to hand. Yeah, the stream was fun yesterday. I know y'all having some challenges with the audio, but I think when you get person versus person, when we're able to show that with streaming, whenever that, I think even with some post-production, there are so many possibilities with this. This is just with Blitz. The full game will be very interesting to see what is possible with Twitch. But one way or another, it should make for some interesting content. Yeah, again, I've never been to Hawaii, but heard many great things. There's beautiful there. Roll of 1. Okay, so I'll leave that 4th spot open for now. End turn. So a roll of 5. Taking a aircraft switch. Get the pair of detection disruptors out there and the other airplane out of the way. Well, it makes sense to do laundry if you have the time to do it. Here's a 6 that I rolled. Well, I can match up the drop ship.
Select target.
We'll go with the Golden Farmlands for starters. With a 3 of a kind force takes out the farmland. Finally did some damage up there. 5 more as far as my actions for this round. I mean, now I can actually play my soldier barracks trio. I mean, it's not going to exactly be a mystery what I'm going to take here when there's only 3 in there. But it's 3 of a kind nonetheless, and I'll hold on to that for now. I won't just put those 2 out there because it would just take 1 more intel to really mess those up. There's 2 spots open. I'll play the pair of John Riders. I'll have a 3rd to go with it right now, but that might actually get targeted. I mean, it can, it's okay. I don't want the H5 dropships to get targeted, though. That's my thought. So we'll see. My opponent's turn. Yeah, I've heard those beaches in Hawaii. It's just like the sand is just beautiful. Picturesque. Three of a kind with a 4, so maybe down to 1 territory. It's a risky spot for me here. Got an opponent that's got a pair of 2 of a kinds out there with their forest cards. Foreboding. Okay. Well, I didn't really need the 4th dropship, but I got it nonetheless. We'll play.
Select target.
3 drop ships. We'll take out the Fermi energy plants. My opponent's down to 2 territories. I have 1 action to go for this round. A little tough to only have that 1 spot out there on the board available for my Legion. I'll forego that last action in my turn. So a roll of 2 by my opponent. Oh, Murfreesboro. I'm about as close to Murfreesboro as I am Nashville, where I am right now. There's a play a 3 there for the intel. That's probably going to go after some of my cards out there on the board. It could target my arsenal, my deck. Actually, that will be what happens. Get milled. Card set for my arsenal into the discard pile. Huh, well, that makes sense. I mean, Knoxville, if you're driving in from Knoxville, cut down 840 after driving down I-40. I mean, that's actually a positive to avoid some of that Nashville traffic. I mean, I love Nashville. It's my hometown. This is, you know, even when I lived in other cities and I was working in TV news and for employment purposes, I had to live elsewhere. I always consider Nashville my home. But the traffic leaves something to be desired. All right, so I've got 3 of a kind. The John Ryder.
Select target.
Now that does minimize what I can do with the WMD, but I'm not in a spot where I can wait very long. The Drighton oil fields. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, it's Atlanta's like this, but times, I don't know how many. But Nashville's become what I remember Atlanta being in the 1990s and the early 2000s. As far as traffic goes. But Atlanta's still light years more difficult, in my experience. And I love Atlanta, too. This is not a dig on Atlanta. It's just, look, the locals will tell you. And it's like, again, it's like that with most cities. Any place that has, especially challenges with any sort of, you know, public transportation on a large scale. If you got a bunch of cars out there, you're going to be dealing with, you know, even if you have 10 lanes, you're going to be dealing with challenges inevitably. Okay, I'm going to end this turn. Maybe I should have played a card there. I don't know, but I didn't. Six. This could be it. You know, the climate in Atlanta. Uh-oh, there's the Force. 3 of a kind. The vast hinterland. Out.
Compromised.
So I'm up against it here. If there's 3 of a kind of a Force in my opponent's hand, that's going to be able to lose. There's just 1 more of those waiting up there. Uh-oh. That's going to do it. ATL Atlanta stays warm most of the time. All right, good game. Okay, we'll get things going here with the prize wheel in just a second. Congratulations. Rusky Music victorious. Do you want me to send the prize to your address that you had there in game with the .c.wham, or do you want another one? I want to be sure it goes to the right place. Redemption. Okay.
Warsaken.
Oh, I had my mic muted. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm saying hello to everybody. I've been. Oh man. That's embarrassing. This is weird. Again, technical directing is not my strong suit. I mean, you have to do enough of that in the field as it is for live sports broadcasts, but I don't have to also run the computer system that's handling the live stream. Or play the game that I'm calling, for that matter. Okay, so roll a 6 here. I've got the 1 spot open. I was noting before, I intentionally left that 3rd spot open to play before having the pair of tanks there that otherwise wouldn't have been able to play that turn without wasting or filling up all 4 of my spots. So there's some limit to it as far as just single cards you throw out there hoping to catch a runner. But in this case with the Igor, it worked. So we'll play the 2 Igors to go with the 3rd out there. There's 3 of a kind. With a Bancare Island. All right, 4. As far as the actions remaining for this turn, I've got 2 spots open in my Legion, so I can play. I'll play a pair of Weathers. The ideal conditions. Not the most intimidating card, but it does stand out. I find it a bit helpful if I have if it's all like smoke and doom and gloom, they don't stand out as much. Blinding Sandstorm has a way of standing out, but I only have 1 of it. Let's see. I would be tempted to play the pair of Agent Zeras, but then I'm filling up all 4 spots, and I try to avoid that, so I'll pass the remaining 2 actions in my turn. There have been a couple of times where I've had live sports broadcasts where there were like microphone issues I didn't find out about till later. I try not to lose my cool in the field, no matter what happens. But that's about the closest I've come to really going off on somebody when there's been stuff that shouldn't have happened. But that's relatively rare because I tend to follow up a bit closely on that. So there's 3 of a kind with a force to take out my first territory. So I'm down to 3. 1 action to go for this turn for my opponent. My turn. 1. Okay. Again, there is some risk to doing it this way as far as if you fill up that 4th spot with something, your opponent's going to generally think there's a reason why. Unless I'm just overthinking it. But that tends to be the way I look at it, and yet there's some risk to all of this. It's part of the game. All right, so I filled up the 4th spot, and if it stays there, I can at least play it the next round. It's my opponent's turn. Now, the caveat's the WMD factor, because if I get a 3rd captured leader and I only have a roll of 3, I wouldn't have enough to take that one particular one-of-a-kind sitting out there, the Maisaki, and then replace it. So there's risk to it. But then again, because I really would prefer to play a WMD before a force, but I might never get that 3rd WMD in time. We've got some nice cards, and part of the fun of playing Warsaken Blitz is getting to see some of these cards that I've never seen before. I've only seen in list form, or maybe on the market at some point. All right, my turn. 2. Oh. See those WMDs? What was I talking about before? If I would have rolled a 3, but here's the thing. If I play the Nathan Smiths now, I take out one of the territories. WMD takes out the other. If I wait, oh, this is tough. Oh, this is tough. I mean, I don't think this is necessarily the best way to go about it, but that's what I'm going to go with here. Oh, thank you for the follow. GA8OX, thank you very much for the follow. Roll a 6 for my opponent. They've got 2 of a kind with a WMD out there. They've got 2 of a kind with a force. There's 3 of a kind for a weather, so they'll get another roll. Two of a kind with force cards, three of a kind. I'll be down to 2 territories. So it's 2 actions to go and then another roll to die. Uh-oh. 2 of a kind WMDs. Ominous. So here's the reroll. Well, not the reroll, but the extra turn. 4. 4 cards and 4 actions. A 3 of a kind with a building card, so pulling back 3 cards from the discard pile. They wouldn't have a matching WMD in there because they haven't played a WMD yet. You can only play 1 per match, obviously. Sometimes I'll say things that might sound ridiculously obvious, but I know there are new people joining the audience at all times. People that have never seen Warsaken Blitz before. 4. All right, I'm going to do it here. But I'll get the order right, but don't rush in on this. I almost made a mistake there. When you have 2 territories left, use the WMD. This will take out both territories. If you go with the wrong order on it, that's the way to lose a match you would have won otherwise. So there's the WMD. I'll take out the vast hinterland and the port of Karmasani.
Compromised.
Got 2 of a kind out there with the Nathan Smiths. I'll play the 3rd, and that's going to take out the compromised leader. I'm going to win the match right here. All right, good game. You've got some nice cards there. It really does add to the fun factor, having the wide variety of cards. All right, so next. All right, Sheila, if you're in here, send me a code if you would, please. Yeah, it happens sometimes. I can certainly empathize. And there's some things I'm going to have to figure out with these streams and the timing of it, how much time to give people. If people wait in the queue, I want to, I don't want to just zip past them. By the same token, there is the whole pace of the broadcast to keep in mind. So some of this is going to be a learning experience for me for the short term. But it's a new experience in broadcasting. And once you've been in that business long enough, I mean, every game, every broadcast is different, but things that are truly novel aren't as common once it becomes part of what you do all the time. Yeah, and you're right, Quadrell. I mean, that's what you do with the 4 games at once is impressive to me. I'm like, man, I have to go back in slower motion and watch this. So there is that. Well, you know what? If we've already played earlier tonight as it was, Sheila already beat me, so I'm going to go ahead and skip on past. If Sheila returns, we'll go ahead and get you back in there in the queue. We'll go ahead and hit next. All right, Soul of the Cat, you're up. If you would, please send me a code. If you need me to, I can send you one. It's just, it really is easier just the way I have it configured here. It's tricky when there are streamers that choose not to make any sort of archive of their broadcast, and that's up to the individual streamer. 100% your choice. But it's tough because sometimes there's some valuable information, and if you're able to clip it like in the moment, if you catch it, great. But sometimes there's stuff that, like, oh, I would have loved to have clipped that, but I didn't have the full, the foresight to get ready for it. But I understand there are reasons why people want to do it that way, and that's fine. All right, here we go. Go ahead and type this code in here, Soul the Cat. We'll get things started here in just a moment. All right.
Warsaken.
All right, taking on Soul the Cat. Okay, so I've got 2 building cards. I'm not thrilled about that. Matching WMD, that's nice and all. I only have 1 force card out of the 8. When you've got more buildings than force cards, I think you're setting yourself up for a bad situation. And yet maybe not. You got 2 intels and 2 mulligan. All right, well that worked out. Yeah, I'll take it. 3 of a kind WMD. Soul the Cat will go first. And that's one funny thing, because with this live stream, there's nice sort of a delay. And I love that because I can interact with the audience here a lot easier than I can with blockchain brawlers where I use a 90-second delay. There's a pair of intel cards. But it's funny because if somebody's listening, then they can obviously hear what I'm thinking about at least some things. 5.
Select target.
If you get a chance to play more than 3 in a turn, you've got 3 WMDs there. Go for the port, and we'll go for the energy plates. And for the purposes of Warsaken Blitz, the 4 territories, the only difference they have is any sort of negative to the morale. For the full game, because this is the simplified version of Warsaken, it's great. It's an easy way for people to learn the game without necessarily getting overwhelmed by the amount of details. There's a ton of detail in a good way. Well, it's somewhat of a risk to play anything. I've got 3 of a kind staring down 2 intel cards. The buildings, I don't have the 3rd to match with it yet. And those could be targeted. And I'd rather that go than force cards where I've got a 3rd sitting here in my hand. All right. I mean, if you want to meet me, that's fine. If you don't, that's having fun with it. Well, different approach there with the intel, going after the arsenal, milling. Sending 6 of those. Now, one nice thing, it does show you what gets sent here. So, I already played the WMD, so that even makes it easier to see what got the heave ho. Three. Okay. Now keep in mind, where I sight on there my discard pile, I might have a match for it, but I don't know if that's going to matter. I've got, who needs to go digging for the past, but I got 3 airplanes that match up right here. Not just airplanes, but S-21Rs.
Select target.
Horde of Resources. What a cool looking card. So it's down to 1 territory left for Soul the Cat, who rolled a 3. They can be really weird about music, and maybe weird's being too nice about it. I make sure the music I play is, it's fully, I've got full rights to use, so there's not sort of a copyright issue with this. But there are weird things that happen. I've heard, like, without any music, where there's like just crowd noise got set something off. I'm like, okay, this is not being consumer friendly, but they didn't ask me. I rolled a 4. Got 3 of a kind with the Romans prototype. Works out well enough.
Select target.
Oh, thank you. I've been very lucky as far as being able to find stuff that I've got. And there was some trial and error early. There was some stuff that was supposedly Creative Commons that wasn't so common. We'll use this to eliminate the 4th. Or there's some things that Twitch will be fine with, and YouTube flips out.
Compromised.
And so I go with music where I know I've got the full clearance. But I appreciate it. Always looking for new options, and I need more like darker themed music, I think, for this game. I've got about an hour of it, and then it kind of gets a little bit peppier. Okay, so I've got 2 of those sitting out there, but nothing to match with it. I could throw a weather out there. I mean, I could start putting forces in play, but I guess I can do that. I just need one more force. There we go. What really frustrates me is when I have a game and it's the original music from that game, and maybe from years ago, and then something gets dinged. It's just, where I bought it, I paid full price, and I understand how it works with music clearances. I know, I get it, but it doesn't make it any less frustrating. Especially the phantom claims. That stuff drives me up the wall. So 3 of a kind there with a force will take out one of my territories. And again, I understand with the music and why people, there are certain reasons they don't want to have stuff on VOD. I get that. But to that I can say, for anybody, if you're in position to record stuff locally, I mean, it's potential content you could use somewhere down the line. But for some people, that's not at all a priority. And that's the great thing with this. There's a tremendous range for what people might want to do. All right, it's my turn. 2. All right, so I'll play 2 of these fire in the fields. And that's it for me for this turn. Yeah. In some cases, like, there was a WWE game, like, I think it was like WWE Shut Your Mouth Ahead, Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix, which was Hollywood Hogan's music in the game. YouTube did not like that. YouTube did not approve of me playing Hendrix. There's 3 of a kind. That force is going to take me down to 2 as far as the territories. But I wouldn't think of things from 20 years ago like that being an issue, but clearly they are. And that's, look, growing up in Nashville, I know how it goes with the music business. I see a lot of the other side of it. At the same time, though, it doesn't make it any less frustrating. It's just a challenge to work around. Try and find a way to be creative with it and find games that'll work within the confines of what you're looking to do. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it, Rabbit Larry type, and I mean, there are all sorts of frustrations, but there's ownership, and then part of what I absolutely love about the Wax Chain, and particularly here with Warsaken, is that I own. When I buy these game elements, I actually own them. In mobile games, where I'm spending actual real money, they're certainly willing to take my money. But if you want to try and that Arn Anderson Season 1 from 2015 and WWE Supercard that almost nobody has, I can't sell it. I can't even sell my account without breaking terms of service. So it just sits there. But they got my money, and that's the way it works. All right, roll a 4 here. I've got 1 spot open. I just need to get a force. This is... Okay. Weather card. That'll give me another roll. I got to stop and think for a second sometimes with this. All right. Extra turn. Like, I'm going to mess around. I'm losing this. Soul the cat. Doing the run in from Hawaii. All right, 3 more to go for this round. 2 spots open there in my Legion. Go with the Riders. And we'll leave it at that. In turn. And I get another roll, of course, from the... Go over here, 5. Okay. I mean, I just need one more force. Man, okay. The weather will give me an extra roll. That's... And I'll play all 3 of them here. Extra turn. I mean, I see the building cards over there dancing around, but I need that 4th spot open. And let's see. Will this be it? I'm about to end the turn here. Wow. I agree. Sorry, taking a drink of water there, trying to go hoarse. All right, there's the 3 of a kind with the building. My turn. One. Oh. Oh, this is madness. I'm staring down at WMD. That in action. Oh my goodness. There's nothing I can do here, is there? I mean, I could do a few things. Let me look at this again. Am I in the turn? Wow. I tell you, Soul the Cat, it's been the strangest thing here. Like, I think of the game League of Legends, and I was pretty terrible at that. I'm not a gamer per se. As a kid, I loved playing, but look, I'll turn 46 in August. I'm older than most typical gamers, most people streaming this. And yet, I find it to be absolutely fascinating with the potential with the blockchain, where you actually own the elements. It's something I thought of in 1996, after my freshman year of college. I had gotten into playing Magic the Gathering. My roommate was into it. Girl down the hall was into it, so she got me into it. But then after that school year, I needed the money desperately, so I sold my cards. And I remember thinking, if you could have this in computer form, why don't you worry about the grade of the card or damaging it or getting, whatever, getting thrown out in the box or whatever, versus having them in some sort of digital way. But the thing I ran into is well, how do you possibly make that happen? And I could never. Visualizing the blockchain was beyond the thought process of 18-year-old me. Here's the roll of 5. Will this do it? I think finally. Man. This will finally, at long last, take out a long time to be compromised. Lockwood hung on there for quite a while. That's going to do it. Good game, Soul the Cat. All right, GA80X. Sorry we didn't get to you quickly enough there. I understand you got to get going. Okay, so provide me just a moment here. Make a note. Okay. So this is Warsaken Blitz, NashvilleLou live, and I'll go ahead and, again, the technical directing side of this is still something I will get figured out. All right, sounds good, Soul the Cat. Thank you so much for swinging by here and playing. All right, Anik420X, you're next. Thank you for the code. Go ahead and get that typed in. We'll get this going. Okay, let me take the second part of that. Help by. There we go. Oh, that's an 8, not a B. Again, these things are my. Oh, this is so frustrating to me. These codes are so frustrating to me, and it's. I mean, it's well beyond this, but it's not that difficult. It's not like it's a 24-digit code or something. Okay. Did not click. There we go.
Warsaken.
That half-second pause. I'm like, I do have more music queued up, don't I? Okay, so nothing really matches up that well here. I've got the one building card that doesn't matter. I will use the mulligan. Mulligan gets us 8 fresh cards. But this is substantially worse. 3 building cards. I don't like that. The second mulligan means I have to just take what they give me, and my opponent gets an extra card. But I get to go first. There's that. 6. Okay. When you use the double mulligan, you have to take a second sometimes to think about what you actually have and what you just got there. Especially if you roll a 6. Like, whoa, okay. Play the pair of L1 needles. Music moguls. I've got some music mogul stuff. I do a lot of stuff with the blockchain brawlers side, so I know some of that crew from that. But I haven't, they've been, I think, testing some stuff. I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong thing with that. I'm interested to see what they come up with. I know that there's potential there. The concept looks good. I don't know that much about it, though, as far as how the game's going to operate. Okay, so a pair of Intel and a pair of Force cards out there in the Legion. 2 more. I could play the pair of white phosphorus bombs, but I feel like it's a bad move to do that with WMDs, especially early. Put a big target on yourself. So, end the turn here with 2 actions untaken. That's my opponent's turn. I'm not sure on the timetable. I just don't have the answer on that. I've made it to the global finals of the Blockchain Brawlers tournament. It's coming up the weekend after next. All right, so I rolled 1, but there's the L1 needle. So that works out pretty well since I have 2 of those already out there. Play the 3rd.
Select target.
The 3 of the kind with a Force. Take one of these out. That is a nice looking card. Look at that. Even with cards that I own, a lot of times I have them displayed where it doesn't display the animation just for the sake of my work computer, so I don't bog it down too much. I take it in for just like, wow. And then I get to eliminate it. Take something beautiful and destroy it like it's Fight Club. But now it's my opponent's turn to retaliate. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I know that there was a lot more planned at one point. And I'm sure plans have had to change. Look, I mean, from what happened with Wax, where they had those cutbacks. It's weird. You go through like weeks of planning with somebody, and you do one show, and then person's department gets blown out. That was not fun. But I've also worked in radio and TV long enough to know that that happens in business, and it's not any fun, and it's brutal, but you have to make the best of it. There's a force taking out one of my territories, so it's 3 apiece for the territories, 2 to go. And I'm not sure how much of that, I mean, I don't know that, I'm a guy in Nashville that likes sports and live streaming, so I don't know, there's a lot with their company I simply don't know. But they've always been fair within their dealings with me. And I hope they can get some things figured out as far as their timetable goes, because there's huge potential. All right, rolled a 6. Weird spot here with a pair of WMDs, 2 and 2. It's risky. Even if you put one out there as like bait, what happens? That's the 3rd that you pull the next time around. There's some risk to that, but I can go with 2 pairs of 2 here at least. So I'll play the pair of soldier barracks. And I'll play the pair of riders. I could play the drop ships, but that takes up spots when you do that. It's one thing to take up a 3rd spot. That 4th spot, a little different. So the pair of John Riders. And 2 more to go. I will end my turn. I'd already done that. Started to type. Oh, no. So my opponent rolled a 1. So my point is, I don't know how much they were thinking. It was hinted to me. They kept things close to the vest. Which is fine. That's, there are things people can't tell me. Don't tell me. Roll a 1. Okay. Well, that was decidedly inconvenient there. Ed. Three of a kind would be forced to take out my 2nd territory, so I'm down to 2. 4 actions to go for my opponent. That's 2 of a kind there with the weather. But I know that with Wax and with Tyranno Studios, they have people that know gaming. Like it's not like they're crypto people that are trying to cobble a game together. Blockchain Brawlers is an outstanding game. It's been a mess to get to work because WebGL was not a success by any means. But they're finally past that, so I'm hoping they'll get it going here, because it's a ton of fun. But so is playing a WMD. I finally got the 3 of a kind with that. I'm going to have my opponent compromised here in just a moment, but first the WMD to take him down to 1.
Select target.
So the Port of Carmasani, Bancare Island. Out. So we play 1 WMD per match. Played mine there. Down to 1 territory left for my opponent. I've got 3 actions to take. Now, I could go with an intel instead. I might do that. I could play a weather. That's the play. Banclair's Island. All right, so I'll play the weather here, get the extra turn. Hey, when in doubt, that's often going to be a pretty decent route of it. Of course, it depends on the roll in the next time. It's a 3. Okay. Play the intel here. I think that's what I have to do.
Select target.
We'll bounce 1 of each. Be careful when you're doing this, when you play, not to hit the red button there to get rid of everything at once if that's not what you want to do.
Select target.
And the idea here is you're knocking 1 off the top for each of these.
Select target.
Which in theory is going to have your opponent hemmed up a bit. So now I have 2 as far as... So I've got a couple of choices here. Wait, I've got the rider already out there. I'm here. Maybe that wasn't the right play. I don't know. This will be. The rider will. So that's going to have my opponent compromised.
Select target. Compromised.
All right, so 1 action remaining. I got the 3 of a kind to go for the win potentially, but you put that out there, and that could make it a target. Let's see. I'll play 1 H5 dropship. It's a 1. My opponent rolls a 1. When you see the Warsaken logo, it's a 1. So essentially, I just have to roll a 2 here, and I'll win the match. Oh! What a rib! What a rib! Oh my. Okay, but those spots are all filled up, and none of them have intel. Dropship. 2. Just have to hope it's not 2 weathers. Oh, it's a 4, so it's not a weather. There's the weather. It's not going to be a weather. They could hit a WMD, but that's okay. I'll win the match here on the next turn. I think. Be careful how boastful and braggadocious I get with this. All right, so 1 more action. My turn. And now I get a 6. All right.
Select target.
There's the compromise leader. Awadi. Eliminate.
Leader eliminated. Victory.
All right, good game. Okay, so I'll go ahead and advance the queue. So, Jack the Ripper, if you're there, if you can send me a code, please. Hey there. It's the Warsaken. Hello. Been having fun with the live stream here tonight. There's still some things that I'm going to have to work out from a coordination standpoint. But this actually has gone better than I thought it might, just because there's more technical stuff to it to what I have to do, and that's not my strong suit. The queue has worked out well. I'm not sure if Jack the Ripper is here. If not, you might have arrived just in time for me to say goodbye. As much as I have enjoyed playing, would like to keep playing. It's been a lot of fun. What I'll do right now, I'll drop the code. Okay, there you are. Thank you. Thank you. Again, this is the challenge for me. While I'm used to doing live broadcasts where I'm trying to maneuver a few people around, there are unique elements to this. So let's see. Okay, yes, thank you. All right. But I've been pleased with the queue. I was pleased with what we... Uh-oh. My computer's pretty fast that I run this on, so... The game has performed well, though. That was just that little hiccup there. That's not been the norm for tonight. Let's see. So the pair of stolen blueprints. I only have the one as far as the barracks. Man. We'll keep it. There's a risk you take that mulligan and you'd be asking for trouble. All right. All right, so it'll be my turn to roll here in just a moment. I was just gonna do a little bit of upkeep here as far as what I'm keeping track of with the games for tonight. All right. 4. So an interesting spot here with the triple intel. It does feel a little bit early to play intel in some ways. I love going after a hand early, but with these weathers out there, I like taking that out of play as well. Or at least making it more difficult. But I think the earlier you do it, the better as far as forcing your opponent to discard, because they'll have fewer options. And thus have to probably make a more difficult choice. Balancing the weathers, though, is what I'm going to do.
Select target. Select target. Select target.
I said weather. These are forces. So obviously, those are not clouds, sir. That is not a ray of sunshine. See, that's what a force looks like. That's what a weather looks like. Well, I can play one of the intels here. The, whoa. Assassination attempt. That's a nice looking card. It's a really nice looking card. I mean, time zones can get tricky. It's a little different for me than with a lot of people as far as their schedules. It's tough for me to have like a, pin stuff down like a certain time day per week, because sometimes I'll get freelance gigs that come on short notice. And availability is a big part of it. And there's sometimes things for business that I can't get away from, and so that's part of the challenge with that. But I think there's all sorts of opportunities for live streaming this, even at unusual hours. As long as there's enough people to keep the games going, I think there's going to be plenty of people that might be looking to play. Okay, nothing really for me to play here that makes sense, even with the 2 open spots, so I'll end it for this turn. But this has gone well tonight. I've been very happy with the way the prize wheel worked out. We'll take a look at that after this game. This will be the last game for the broadcast. Last match. There's 3 of a kind. I'm not sure why it got sluggish. It must be something with my machine that's going on. I don't know. Some sort of weird process that runs at 12:20 a.m. Nashville time. All right, now there's a weather card. Four. And I'm using the app. The app has worked great for me. Hope this isn't like gonna give somebody the wrong idea with this, because the game plays very well for me. It has. Oh, I play the assassination attempts. Here I am over here, looking at this other stuff, wondering why my cards aren't moving as fast as I want them to. And let's click this. right, we'll bounce 3. Thank you for the follow. Constant, thank you. All right, so a force. Now this is what a weather card looks like.
Select target.
Another force. So we'll clear things off as far as that goes. All right, I have 2 more actions that I can take for this turn. I mean, it's tempting with the WMD, but I don't like putting those out there. If I don't have a third in my hand, especially, because they become an easy target. I may play 1 each of the weathers. Okay. With a freezing rainstorm. And the ideal conditions. I love there's an ideal conditions card. Now it doesn't want to go away. There we go. Okay, a weather card played, so that's going to be an extra roll the die for my opponent here. Okay, with the extra roll the die, my opponent rolls a 5. They have 2 intel cards sitting out there. 3 of a kind. So I have 1 force card still out there, but those weathers got knocked away. WMD. My turn. I don't know why it's suddenly in molasses mode. 3. Okay. Play the pair of blinding sandstorms. I'll play the Z27 Tiger. That's kind of a tough spot after the intel, but if I'm able to play a building card, that could come into play. I was just going to end the turn anyway. There's a WMD. I'm going to be down to 1 territory. All right, 2 actions to go here for my opponent. If they're able to put a 3rd force, with those 2 sitting out there, I'll have a compromised leader. All right, my turn. Again, there's a reason I use separate computers for these broadcasting setups here. If I were to have this kind of a slope with my broadcasting stream, I'd be in a really bad spot. Speaking of really bad spots, roll of 1. I could put something out there, but I don't know. I mean, if I were to play anything, there would be the captured leader, but for the reasons I explained before, I don't think that's the move here. I'll let him turn. Refresh. Okay, well, let me try that real quick. Thank you. I'll bring the slate up so it doesn't... So if I hit refresh, I hope it's not gonna ruin the game. Like, I'm not, like... Like, normally I would hit like F5 to refresh a browser, but I don't know if that's,
Compromised.
like, I don't want to ruin it either. I'm afraid I'm... Okay. Alright, well this may end soon enough anyway. So I'm down to this. I couldn't figure out what to do to refresh. I was like, I'm afraid I'm gonna like end up ruining the game right before the ending. No. Don't do that. Alright, 2 actions to go here for my opponent. If they can put a couple of forces together up there, just 1 for that one, it would be enough to beat me. I haven't taken on any of their territories yet. Is the refreshing to be okay? You would know better than me. I trust you on that. Let's see. Well, let me roll it here. 5. When you say refresh, what do I need to do to refresh? Okay, Soldier's Barrier. Oh, WMD. Here we go. What? Oh, come on. I was hitting. Okay, this is going to start irking me here in a second. All right, you know what? We're going to have to hang on here a second. This isn't going to work. Okay, so I'm trying to get this out of this full screen mode. So if I hit, is it F5 that refreshes it? Okay. It worked. Okay, thank you.
Leader compromised.
There we go. Okay. All right, much better. Okay.
Select target.
So it'll be 2 Let's pop-ups keep happening here. Again, some of this is a work in progress, so bear with me on this. All right, 2 more. Let's see. We'll play 2 of the successful mole hunts, see if I can intel, but I'm in a really tough spot here. Right-click refresh. I'll remember that for next time. Thank you. I think I hit F5. I was like, what do I do? I was afraid it was going to kick me out of the game, or somehow I was afraid I like misunderstood that refresh is something else, and oh, you should have known to ask, etc. That was that concern. So, want to be sure I didn't mess it up. Those are the things that run through my head during a live stream. That some of the challenges I got to deal with. So roll a 3 there. One more for that force, and that'd be the match. All right. So I'm still very much up against it, but roll of 1. Soldier's Barracks. Okay. Well, roll of 1 for my opponent. Okay, thank you for explaining that. I'm just trying to err on the side of caution here, so I didn't want to have a game end because of my incompetence with technology. So here we go, the blinding sandstorm. That'll give me another turn. Z27 Tiger.
Select target.
And I'll bring my opponent down to 1 territory remaining. 3 actions to go for this turn. Remember, I have another roll here, so I actually think playing the weathers here. I'm going to run out of time or turns, or however you want to look at it, if I start chasing stuff from the discard pile, the buildings. I think. Let's go with 2 of the ideal conditions. And then I've got, how many spots? Just the one spot open. So we'll take the end here. And then this extra roll. Let's see, what do we have? It's a 5. Okay. Oh, let's see. But part of what makes Blitz great is that I'm not gonna be able. I'm hoping maybe I find something I can pair with something on the board, but that doesn't look to be the case. But that it allows you to play the game at a more simplified level and learn things and the different terms and the difference between a force and an intel and a WMD. Oh, sorry about that. My microphone. Oh. It doesn't really matter which one I go with the forces here. We'll play 2 forces. I'm going to pull this one off the board, the soldiers' barracks. Basically, I'm playing to where I'm going to have to win it in the next hand if I get another turn. I don't know I'm going to get another turn, but I might. So I've got to get myself positioned to try and go for a win, I think. Maybe that wasn't the right play. I don't know. Again, with some of this, I'm still learning what makes the most sense, what plays should and shouldn't have it. Roll of a 6. Now, this is probably going to finish it off here. That'll do it. All right. Good game. All right, congrats on the victory. That's going to be the last match of this broadcast. And so now, give me just a moment. We'll get things brought up with the prize wheel. I get to show that off. Mentioned it earlier. If you can let me know what address you want me to send that to, Jack the Ripper. There's the .c.wham address there in the game, but I know not everybody's address in the game is where they want it to go. So if you could, please let me know that. All right, so we'll go ahead and remove the last one from the wheel there. Prize wheel presented by Neri 3616 in Alien Worlds, my land there. Epic Maysaki. You got a 1 in 46 chance of winning this epic. Have a lot of very rares, super rares, and 1 uncommon. And so this will be... Okay, great. So I've got the address there from you there, Jack. All right, a very rare Private John Blackthorn number 492. So I'll be hanging on here for just a second. This next part of it, where I go from in my fulfillments wallet and actually send it out, I think is something that would probably make a decent part of the stream versus me just talking during it. But for the short term, this is me the approach. So I'll go and get that sent to you right now. So I've got to figure out with the prize wheel how to go from a show-to-show basis on that with the big prize. I'll carry it over, and we'll get things figured out here. So let me put NashvilleLou live. Prize, and then it'll be yesterday's date, but the date of the show, when it started. All right, and double checking the address. That's correct. So that's number 492, very rare. Private John Blackthorn, Oil Prime, send, confirm. Okay, so I've confirmed it here. On my end, it says success. So now, very easy for me to copy the link. Well, I say that and I botched the... Not that you get to see any of this, but... There we go. All right. So let me slate back up. And we'll actually leave the slate up here because that's going to do it for the broadcast here. So, wow, that was a lot of fun. 3.5 hours that flew by. Well, I appreciate the heads up on. Thank you, Quadrille, for letting me know that when you got multiples, because I just wanted to make sure I didn't want to mess the game up and end it or whatever. But that was a lot of fun. This game, Warsaken Blitz, is fun. It's a game that's easy to stream and chat with people. People that are better at doing that and multitasking than me, I think will have even more success as far as getting mileage out of that. But even, I mean, me versus technology aside, it's a lot of fun. Some back and forth matches. Great community on Discord. For those of you watching this later, trying to figure out, what do I need to do to learn more about Warsaken and how to play Warsaken Blitz and who are these people, etc., go to the Warsaken Discord and you'll find some great people there. And I'm very excited to see what the future holds here on Twitch for Warsaken Blitz and a lot of other things. Just huge potential. And in some ways, you're only limited by your creativity and your imagination. Again, I've mentioned this before, but it reminds me a lot of mid-1980s computer gaming when I was a little kid. Get a floppy disk with 100 shareware games on them. And maybe they wouldn't exactly hold up well if you look back now on them, but at the time, these were concepts that had never existed before that I'd ever seen. And sometimes the games were entertaining, sometimes not, but point is, I saw huge potential then that not surprisingly happened, and the same thing with this realm. We've only scratched the surface, we've only just begun, and I can't wait to see what other people have planned. I know there are people that are super creative, they're going to come up with some great ideas, and I've already learned a lot just watching other people's streams and seeing how they handle that. So thanks to everyone who took the time to watch or play here tonight. So that's going to do it for this broadcast of NashvilleLou Live. I'm your host, Lou Pickney. Thanks for watching. See you next time.